Hey guys, Patrick here, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on looping your loop with the acrylic pipes. Yes, heating it and how you should do it, what you need and what works best. Now what I've got in front of me is obviously the heat gun, a cheapy Ozito one for $50. It's pretty cool. It's got a temperature gauge. You can set it. Now you don't want it too high. You don't want to burn the acrylic. Now I'm using acrylic, so I've got a example pipe here, and I'm not using PETG, which is easier to work with but has a blue tinge. This looks nice and clear. It's more like glass, plastic glass, so it could shatter easier, and there's a fine line when you are creating it. I've got my fitting just for a test fit. I've got some sandpaper. I've got the actual silicone pipe that will need to go inside here. If you don't have this, do not try bending this acrylic pipe. It will just bend it on itself and water will not be able to go through. So this goes inside to try and hold it up. And if you see to my right here, I've got some soapy water and actually some vegetable oil, because it's kind of hard to get this through. So veggie oil should help that. It's quite cheap, and I guess make sure nothing leaks into here so nothing sets on fire, but it should be all right. Just be very careful. You are working with very hot things. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to insert this into a little bit of oil and start pushing it through. Now not too much, because you don't want it all leaking out, but if you have some sort of mat to do it over, it'd be good. So what you want to do, you just want to gently push it in and just spin it while you're doing it. All the oil will sort of leak out at the same time on the sides. You don't need to go too far, but I recommend about 30 centimeters just in there, and then you can grab a little bit of a towel and just clean off this. Now I've got a tool here that I forgot to mention. This is a borrowing tool, and I'll show you what that will be doing in a second. So we've got our tube, it's inserted. Let's say we want to make the bend over here. You don't have to stress how far away you are from here, because all this can be cut to size. So as soon as you've got your bends, you'll have a better idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to try and do a bend here. So let's turn this on into, look, setting 1. It will be best, I think. We've got a little bit of heat there. You don't need to keep it very close, but let's turn it up a little bit. Let's just wait a little bit. So you can see here that it's not particularly hot. I've still got my hand over it. So what I'm going to do is put the heat up a little bit. That's good. That's getting there. So you want to keep it at a height roughly like this, and you want to keep spinning it. It's very important that you keep spinning. I know it could be awkward, but it's very important to keep spinning it. I think that's the main thing, because if you start hitting one area, you will notice that it just won't bend properly, and you'll get cracking and you'll get all sorts of things. So right now we've got it at about 1/4 of the heat on it, and setting number 1. So there's 2 settings, very hot and not hot at all. And I'm just going to spin it. I know it gets a little bit oily, so just take care, clean it if you can. That'll probably be the best. You'll start seeing that it's getting hot, and I think, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm not feeling the heat just there, but there we go. So I can just do it a little bit slower, I suppose, but as you can see. And what I'm going to try and do is, while I'm heating it there, I'm going to let the weight of it take me. Now I've got another tool here from XSPC that I will show you in very soon, but I'm not using that for now. This is just going to be an example of a simple. So it's getting very hot to the touch now, and you probably won't be touching it very soon. Now some people might want to test the bend and try going like this, but don't, because you could get some hairline cracks, and you don't want to do that. Oh, we're getting there. I can see a little bit of a bend. Now this might seem very tedious, and look, to be honest, it is. Last time I did it was a few years ago. So there's already a bit of a bend happening there. So let's keep spinning. You don't want it too hot, because you will end up blackening your pipe, and that's definitely not what we're going for. We're going for a very good look. As you can see, it's already bending, but I've got to keep spinning it, because both sides of your bend, the top and bottom, have to be heated. Now, why am I not using this beautiful thing here? Well, because you can see it with your eye when it gets to 90 degrees. As you can see, I'm getting there now. It's heating up, and the silicone tube in there will keep it straight, will keep it from folding in on itself. Oh, this is good. Now, the other thing that people might do is that once they see this happening, they'll just go like this. Don't do that. Let it naturally fold. And I know, again, it'll be extremely tedious, but if you want it done right the first time and you don't want to waste your pipes, you will need to do it that way. I guess what you could do to speed it up is basically maybe even get a little bit more heat on it, but I would rather stick to this when you're first doing it. Once you get comfortable with it, you know, make sure you can turn up the heat and you can go a little bit faster. At this point, I like to just heat it up around, because that bend, it'll need to get to itself very soon. It'll have to use at least this much of the area to heat it, so you just want to move it around like that. And I am not putting any pressure on it, guys, definitely not, just heating it as I go. And the reason I can keep it that close is because I have the temperature fairly low. I can still put my hand there, so it's almost like a hairdryer. You could potentially use a hairdryer, it's just the hairdryers don't have a nice little stand over there. And I guess that's the bonus of it. It has a stand. Now the silicone will not have any issues with this, by the way. The silicone is happy to be at this heat. Now the good thing about this would be that if I put it to it, it'll keep that very pretty shape of a 90 degrees angle, but let the weight of it actually do it for you, and it will actually come out very nice. And the good thing is that you will actually have a better feel for it when you use this. So my recommendation is that start off doing it this way, because that way you learn how it is, and then if it's your first time, obviously, you know, then you can start using that. Because I think what people tend to do is, oh, I'll have this, I'll heat it up, and then start bending it around it, and it just doesn't work out very well. It doesn't help the learning part of it. I mean, potentially it could make you do it quicker. But finally, the last thing that I want to mention is, since we're getting very much close to the end here, is that some people decide that they'll put some ice in a little container and dunk it in there. Don't do that. You will get hairline fractures all around your bend, and it will weaken the acrylic. Every time I go around like this, it sort of feels like it's gonna move even more. There you go, guys, we're getting there. And what you have to do at this point is, once it is heated, once it is ready to be held in place, it's going to take time. You're going to be very, very patient. So once we're getting to that 90-degree angle, I'm just going to heat it up a little bit more to have it a bit more malleable. As you can see, I can move it a lot now. The weight of it itself will actually hold it at a 90-degree angle. As you can see, it is pretty much perfect, and if I put this to it, it will be 90 degrees. As you can see there, it pretty much is. Some people use a bottle around it, you know, to get that perfect sort of angle there, but it doesn't really matter. This is what you can do freehand, and it's absolutely fine. Like so. I don't think you need to do much more than that if you're doing a little turn like this. But what I would say is, when you have done it, let it sit for a bit. Just help it stand, and if you need to blow on it, just do it, and you can feel it. You can feel it when it's ready, when it's good to go. So I think I can probably pull it out. There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to put that on there. Look at that line, look at that. Without having to use anything like this. Now, once I've got the oil, I'm just gonna wash it out with soapy water, and I didn't need to use this. I mean, come on guys, that's 90 degrees right there. So from then on, you're gonna be doing your next bend somewhere on this side. Maybe you know, usually when you wanna do a build, you're either gonna go straight across, or you might wanna go this way and then up a little bit and then left again. So what I'm gonna try to do with this one, look, I hate to destroy it or whatever, but we'll do another bend this way, right around here. So imagine if it's going from, let's say you've got a radiator at the top, like so, and you want to bring it down here, let's say here, this way, and then that way. So that's a very hard turn, and I think we should be able to make it. Alright guys, now we've done it. Now remember, things to look out for. Don't rush it or you'll get bends like this. Don't rush it too much or you just won't get it right. And if you go nice and slow, you'll get a perfect 90 degrees. recommendation is don't use this. It's too hard to navigate this in between this and this, so it's just adding too much to the formula. Let your hands and the gravity guide you, and I think it will come out better. Remember, don't rush it, nice and slow, and you'll be fine. The last thing I want to talk about is actually putting it on the fitting. Now I've got a OC fitting there, and this is the first part. This goes into your actual unit, or where you're going to be cooling it, where the water is going to be flowing inside. So that's pretty easy. There's a cool way to actually get it on. You've got a shape here, and if you've got a little special tool that can fit right in that shape, which luckily I do, you don't have to spin it on the cuts here. Once you have it into your loop, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to grab this, and you've already cut your pipe to pieces. You're going to put it through like so. Obviously it's a clean pipe. Then you're going to put in this little washer. It's just a pressure washer, so you're going to be You're going to be putting the pressure on this rubber seal. Now, what you might notice is the rubber seal doesn't fit very well over it. So what you're going to do is just going to put it over it like so. Now, before we do anything or put it on, we need to actually clean it up a little bit. So you're gonna grab your little gouger here, and you're gonna go through. I've already done it a few times already, and you're gonna go like this. Now what you will notice is once you've cleaned it all up, you're gonna try and push it into your fitting. It's not gonna go well at first, but if you put a little bit of pressure, it'll actually slide in very well, and you can already see it already is holding quite tightly. Your rubber seal will move down, and it will be the actual water seal between this and obviously the water, the liquid you're using. The washer is going to be putting the pressure on from this seal here, and once this is already in, you're just going to go like this and screw it on and tightly fit it. There it is, guys. Very, very easy. Once you have your bends and your runs made, it's not a problem at all. The hard part is doing this. So what I'm recommending, guys, really take it nice and slow. Try not to damage your silicone base. Now I'm gonna have to use this end only. Make sure you have one of these. Without this, you're not gonna get it in the fitting. Unfortunately, it's just not gonna work, okay? So make sure you have that. Once you have all those pieces, and this is just for perfectionists. You can do the top of it like so and get it all out, but make sure it's clean. Make sure all the oil is out that you've used, and don't use expensive oil. It's just to lubricate the tube and nothing more. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, and let me know if I did anything wrong. Look, I know what I did here, but I think the principle is the same. Don't rush it, even for videos. And maybe I did rush it there. Guys, thank you very much, and I'll catch you in another video of actually hopefully putting together my rig. Thank you.